Hello there, wonderful friends. Joe Grant here, and I'm so delighted you've joined me today. If you're over 65 or have loved ones who are, today's video might just be one of the most important ones you watch this year. You know, when I was growing up, my grandmother used to say, the little things we do each day add up to big results over time, and nowhere is this more true than with our nutrition, especially as we move into our golden years. Today I want to talk about something small but mighty that can have a tremendous impact on your health. Nuts. Now you might be thinking, nuts? Really? That's what we're focusing on today? But I promise you, these tiny powerhouses of nutrition can make a world of difference in your health, energy, cognitive function, and yes, even your longevity. However, not all nuts are created equal, especially for those of us in our 7th decade and beyond. I've been a geriatric nutritionist for over 30 years now, and I've seen firsthand how making simple switches in what we eat can transform health outcomes. Today I'm going to share with you the 4 nuts you absolutely must incorporate into your diet if you're over 65. And 4 you should steer clear of, and why. I'll walk you through the research, share some patient success stories, and give you practical tips on how to enjoy these beneficial nuts in your daily meals. So grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's dive into how these small changes can lead to significant improvements in your health. And remember, it's never too late to make positive changes that can enhance your quality of life. The 4 nuts you must eat after 65. 1, walnuts, your brain's best friend. Let's start with what I consider the star performer in the nut world for seniors, walnuts. There's a reason these nuts actually look like tiny brains. Nature has a way of giving us clues. Walnuts are absolutely packed with omega-3 fatty acids, particularly alpha-linolenic acid, or AL. Now, why does this matter for you? As we age, our brains naturally experience some changes, including potential inflammation that can affect memory and cognitive function. The omega-3 acids in walnuts help combat this inflammation and support brain cell health. Walnuts, that's absolutely impossible for any additional suffering. You even have missing one thing to do. And focus in the... Let me tell you about my patient, Robert. At 72, Robert was becoming increasingly concerned about his occasional forgetfulness, keys misplaced, names forgotten. We've all been there. Instead of immediately assuming the worst, we worked on incorporating a handful of walnuts into his daily routine, along with other brain-healthy habits. After just 3 months, Robert noticed he felt mentally sharper. His wife even commented that he was quicker with his beloved crossword puzzles. Research from the New England Journal of Aging supports what I observed with Robert. A 5-year study showed that seniors who consumed just 1.5 ounces of walnuts daily showed significant improvements in cognitive test scores compared to those who didn't eat walnuts. How to enjoy them? I recommend adding 7-8 walnut halves to your morning oatmeal, sprinkling them on salads, or even blending them into smoothies if chewing is sometimes challenging. If you find their slightly bitter taste off-putting, it brings out a wonderful nutty flavor that's much milder. 2, almonds, heart health heroes. Next on our must-eat list are almonds, nature's heart health champions. Heart disease remains the number 1 health concern for Americans over 65. But something as simple as incorporating almonds into your diet can make a significant difference. Almonds are rich in monounsaturated fats, the good kind that helps lower harmful LDL cholesterol while maintaining beneficial HDL cholesterol. They're also packed with vitamin E, which acts as an antioxidant, protecting your cells from damage, and magnesium, which helps regulate blood pressure. Consider my patient Martha, who at 78 had been struggling with gradually increasing blood pressure and cholesterol levels. Her doctor was considering starting her on medication, but Martha wanted to try dietary changes first. We added a quarter cup of almonds to her daily diet. Within 4 months, her LDL cholesterol had dropped by 12 points, and her blood pressure readings were consistently lower. Her doctor was impressed enough to hold off on medication. A landmark study in the Journal of Cardiovascular Health demonstrated that seniors who consumed almonds 5 times a week had a 35% lower risk of heart disease compared to those who rarely ate nuts. That's a significant benefit from such a simple food. For those of you with dentures or dental concerns, almond butter is an excellent alternative to whole nuts. Try spreading it on whole grain toast in the morning, or stir a tablespoon into your yogurt. For the ones with skin intact, that's where many of the antioxidants reside. 3 pistachios, blood sugar balancers. Our third must-eat nut for seniors is the delightful pistachio. These green gems are particularly beneficial if you're monitoring your blood sugar levels or managing diabetes, which affects nearly 27% of Americans over 65. What makes pistachios special is their unique combination of protein, healthy fats, and fiber, creating a trifecta that helps prevent blood sugar spikes. They also have a lower glycemic index compared to many other snacks, meaning they won't cause rapid increases in blood glucose. I worked with Gerald, an active 81-year-old with type 2 diabetes who was frustrated with his mid-afternoon energy crashes. We discussed replacing his usual cracker snack with a small handful of pistachios. The change made a remarkable difference. Not only did his blood sugar readings become more stable, but he also reported having sustained energy through his evening activities, including his twice-weekly bowling league. Research published in Diabetes Care found that incorporating pistachios into meals reduced post-meal blood sugar spikes by up to 20% in older adults with type 2 diabetes. Furthermore, the routine of shelling pistachios naturally slows down eating, helping with portion control, an added benefit for those watching their weight. I recommend buying them in their shells. Yes, they take a bit more effort to eat, but that's actually an advantage. The act of shelling pistachios slows down consumption, preventing overindulgence, and some studies suggest the visual cue of empty shells helps people be more mindful of how much they've eaten. Aim for about a quarter cup in shell as an afternoon snack, or sprinkle the shelled nuts over a salad or roasted vegetables. 4, pecans. Inflammation fighters. Rounding out our fantastic 4 is the pecan, a true southern belle with remarkable health benefits for seniors. Chronic inflammation is often called the silent driver of aging, contributing to arthritis, heart disease, and even some cancers. Pecans are uniquely positioned to help combat this inflammation. These delicious nuts contain more than 19 vitamins and minerals, including zinc, which supports immune function. Crucial for seniors as our immune systems naturally become less efficient with age. They're also rich in oleic acid, the same healthy fat found in olive oil, and contain unique antioxidants that have been shown to reduce markers of inflammation in the body. Let me share Linda's story. At 75, Linda had been living with rheumatoid arthritis for nearly 2 decades. While her medication was essential, she was interested in complementary dietary approaches. We added a regular serving of pecans to her diet. Within 2 months, Linda reported noticing less stiffness in her fingers in the morning, and blood tests showed a modest but meaningful decrease in her inflammatory markers. A study published in Nutrients found that older adults who consume pecans regularly showed decreased levels of specific inflammatory markers linked to age diseases. The researchers noted that the effect was particularly pronounced in adults over 70. Pecans have a naturally sweet flavor that makes them perfect for both savory and sweet applications. Try them toasted and chopped over your morning yogurt, added to stuffing for poultry, or sprinkled over roasted sweet potatoes. For a special treat, toast them lightly with a tiny bit of maple syrup and a dash of cinnamon for a dessert-like snack that's still nutritious. The 4 nuts seniors should avoid. Now that we've covered the beneficial nuts, let's talk about those that might be problematic for many seniors. Those that might be problematic for many seniors. Remember, every person is unique in what they perceive to be more true for their projects or their success or their life, or what their skin color or sex is, and suburbia, and gender, and sex. 1, Brazil nuts. Selenium overload risk. Brazil nuts top our approach with caution list. While they're not inherently bad, in fact, they're exceptionally rich in selenium, a mineral important for thyroid function and immune health. They pose a unique risk for seniors because it's surprisingly easy to get too much of a good thing. A single Brazil nut contains approximately 96 micrograms of selenium, which is about 175% of the daily recommended intake for adults. For seniors, especially those taking multivitamins or other supplements that may already contain selenium, adding Brazil nuts can easily push levels too high, potentially leading to selenium toxicity. Consider my patient William, who was experiencing unusual symptoms including hair loss, brittle nails, digestive discomfort, and even mild tremors. During our nutritional assessment, I discovered he was eating a small handful of Brazil nuts daily, something he'd read was good for prostate health, along with taking a senior multivitamin containing selenium. His blood test confirmed selenium levels well above the recommended range. When we eliminated the Brazil nuts, his symptoms gradually resolved. Research from the Journal of Nutrition and Aging suggests that seniors are more vulnerable to mineral imbalances due to changes in metabolism and kidney function that naturally occur with age. This makes careful monitoring of highly concentrated nutrients particularly important. If you absolutely love Brazil nuts, limit yourself to 1 nut twice a week, and be sure to account for selenium in any supplement you're taking. Remember, with Brazil nuts, more is definitely not better. 2, macadamia nuts, caloric density concerns. Next on our caution list are macadamia nuts. These creamy, delicious nuts are often considered a luxury treat, but they come with some concerns for the senior population. Macadamia nuts have the highest fat content and caloric density of all nuts, about 204 calories per ounce with over 21 grams of fat. While much of this is monounsaturated fat, the healthier kind, the sheer caloric density can be problematic for seniors who need to carefully manage their weight but may have decreasing caloric needs due to lower metabolism and reduced physical activity. I worked with Eleanor, a 77-year-old who was struggling with gradual weight gain despite feeling like she wasn't eating more than usual. When we reviewed her diet, we discovered she had developed a daily habit of enjoying macadamia nuts while watching her afternoon shows, often consuming nearly a cup without realizing it. This alone was adding almost 800 extra calories to her daily intake. When we switched her snack to measured portions of almonds and walnuts, she gradually began to return to her previous weight. Another concern with macadamia nuts is their high manganese content. While manganese is an essential nutrient, excessive amounts can be problematic, particularly for seniors with liver conditions, as the liver becomes less efficient at removing excess manganese from the body with age. If you particularly enjoy macadamia nuts, consider them an occasional treat rather than a dietary staple. Limit portions to no more than 5-6 nuts at a time, and prioritize the fantastic 4 nuts we discussed earlier for your regular consumption. 3, peanuts, mold, and inflammation issues. Our third nut to approach with caution isn't technically a nut at all. It's the peanut, which is actually a legume. Peanuts are widely consumed and have some nutritional benefits, but they present several concerns that make them less ideal for seniors compared to other options. First, peanuts are among the most common food allergens. And interestingly, some people develop peanut sensitivities later in life, even if they've eaten them without problems for decades. These late onset reactions are often more subtle, perhaps a bit of digestive discomfort or mild inflammation, rather than acute allergic responses. More significantly, peanuts are particularly susceptible to a mold called aspergillus, which produces aflatoxins, compounds that can be harmful to liver health and potentially carcinogenic with long-term exposure. As we age, our detoxification systems become less efficient, potentially making these compounds more problematic. I worked with Harold, a 79-year-old who enjoyed peanut butter sandwiches almost daily. He had been experiencing persistent, mild digestive issues and elevated inflammatory markers on his blood tests. When we experimented with removing peanut products from his diet for 3 weeks, replacing them with almond butter, he noticed significant improvement in his symptoms. His follow-up blood work showed reduced inflammatory markers as well. Research from the Journal of Inflammation Research has indicated that peanuts contain more inflammatory omega-6 fatty acids and fewer anti-heme omega-3s compared to tree nuts like walnuts and pecans, potentially making them less beneficial for seniors dealing with inflammatory conditions like arthritis. If you do enjoy peanuts or peanut butter, opt for higher quality products, ideally organic and tested for aflatoxins, and consider them an occasional food rather than a daily staple. Better yet, substitute with almond butter or other nut butters made from our recommended nuts. 4, cashews. Digestive and metabolic concerns. A final nut on the caution list is the cashew. These curved, creamy nuts are certainly delicious, but they present several potential issues for seniors. Cashews have one of the higher carbohydrate contents among nuts, about 8 grams per ounce compared to 3-4 grams in the same amount of walnuts or almonds. This higher carb content can make them less suitable for seniors monitoring blood sugar or managing diabetes. They're also lower in the beneficial fatty acids found in our recommended nuts. Additionally, commercial cashews are often heavily processed. Raw cashews contain urushiol, the same compound found in poison ivy, so virtually all raw cashews sold have been steamed to remove this irritant. Many are then roasted with unhealthy oils and often have high amounts of added salt or even sugar, making them more problematic for seniors monitoring cardiovascular health. I had a patient, Doris, who enjoyed a large handful of roasted salted cashews every evening with her glass of wine. She was puzzled by her gradually increasing blood pressure despite taking medication. When we looked closely at her diet, those evening cashews were contributing significantly to her daily sodium intake. Switching to a measured portion of unsalted walnuts helped bring her numbers back to a healthier range within weeks. Perhaps most concerning for many seniors is that cashews can be among the more difficult nuts to digest. They contain complex starches that some older adults may find problematic, especially those with age changes in digestive function or conditions like diverticulosis. If you do enjoy cashews occasionally, opt for unsalted, dry roasted varieties in limited quantities and consider soaking them overnight before consuming to make them easier to digest. Better yet, redirect your nut choices to the brain-boosting, heart-supporting options we discussed earlier. Practical tips for incorporating healthy nuts into your diet. Now that you know which nuts to embrace and which to limit, let's talk about how to practically incorporate the beneficial ones into your daily routine. 1. Portion control is key. With all nuts, portion control remains important. They're nutrient dense, but also calorie dense. I recommend using a 1/4 cup measure or counting out specific quantities. About 14 walnut halves, 23 almonds, 49 pistachios in shell, or 19 pecan halves makes a serving. 2, storage matters. Nuts contain oils that can go rancid if improperly stored. Keep them in airtight containers in your refrigerator or freezer to maintain freshness and nutritional value, especially if you won't consume them within a few weeks. 3, chewing concerns. If dental issues make whole nuts challenging, consider these alternatives. Nut butters, look for varieties without added oils or sugar. Finely chopped nuts added to softer foods. Nuts incorporated into smoothies or soups. Soaking nuts overnight to soften them before consuming. Particularly walnuts may interact with blood-thinning medications due to their vitamin K content. If you're on anticoagulants like warfarin, speak with your healthcare provider about maintaining consistent intake rather than eliminating these beneficial foods. 5, gradual introduction. If nuts haven't been a regular part of your diet, introduce them gradually to allow your digestive system to adjust. Start with a tablespoon of chopped nuts or a teaspoon of nut butter, increasing slowly over weeks. 6, creative consumption. Try these simple ways to enjoy your healthy nuts. Morning oatmeal topped with chopped walnuts and berries. Lunch salads sprinkled with slivered almonds. Afternoon snack of in-shell pistachios with a piece of fruit. Vegetables garnished with toasted pecans. Homemade trail mix combining your favorite healthy nuts with dried cherries or blueberries. Both excellent for brain health. Small changes, big impact. As we wrap up today's discussion, I want to emphasize something crucial. It's never too late to make positive changes that benefit your health. The choices you make today, even something as seemingly simple as which nuts you choose to eat, can significantly impact how you feel tomorrow, next month, and in the years to come. Think of Mary, who at 92 decided it was worth making dietary changes after watching one of these videos. She incorporated walnuts and almonds daily, eliminated inflammatory foods, and reported feeling better than she had in years. Age is truly just a number when it comes to responding to positive health changes. The research is clear. The walnuts, almonds, pistachios, and pecans we've discussed today offer substantial benefits for cognitive function, heart health, blood sugar management, and reducing inflammation, 4 key areas of concern for many seniors. By making these nuts regular features in your diet, while limiting or avoiding Brazil nuts, macadamias, peanuts, and cashews, you're making a simple yet powerful choice for your health. Remember what I said at the beginning, it's the small, consistent choices we make each day that ultimately determine our health outcomes. You don't have to overhaul your entire diet overnight. Start with just one change from today's video. Perhaps begin tomorrow by adding a small handful of walnuts to your breakfast, or swapping your afternoon peanut butter for almond butter. I'd love to hear about your experiences with making these changes. In the comments below, share which of these nuts you plan to incorporate more regularly, or any questions you might have about today's topic. Your questions often inspire future videos. If you found this information valuable, please give this video a thumbs up so more people in our age group can benefit from it. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our weekly videos on optimizing health in our golden years. Next week, we'll be discussing the 5 morning habits that can add years to your life. Another simple but powerful topic you won't want to miss. Until then, remember, your best health is the culmination of small, positive choices made consistently over time. Your golden years. Take care, and I'll see you next Tuesday.